new development must pay its way. That concept hasn't changed. It's hard to talk about establishing fees and costs when the market is upside down. Economists are like weathermen. There's lots of them, and weathermen don't know whether it's going to rain or not. That's why they call weathermen. And economists you can find for everyone on one side, you're going to find one on another side. Econ 101A tells you simply that our preceding council established a policy which I agree with, which I continue to support, which is very difficult to always do because it's not popular, but it's the right thing to do. And that is new development must pay for itself. Now, the argument against that is that right now the market's upside down, and my gosh, you go to do that, you're going to have all development stopped. Well, you know, here's the 11 o'clock news. There's no development going on. And I think we have to do the right thing. When people run for city council, the number one thing they always, well, there's two things they talk about: public safety and traffic. And traffic, and traffic, and traffic. Can you imagine what would have happened in the eastern part of Chula Vista and they not provided for the fees, to provide for the infrastructure to be in place ahead of the development? That's the reason East 8th Street was no longer 4 lanes, it was 6 lanes. In fact, today, it has validated that that was a correct decision. And so, development must pay for itself, and we must be just as articulate today in 2008 to ensure that we continue to do that as we had our predecessors do in 1988 to establish the transportation DIF, which ironically was shared at Sandag as one of the most foresighted communities to do that. We had leadership in Sandag that was just fighting this viciously because they're not going to add any fee under any cost because they want no housing at all. Well, that's for a different reason, but you know what? We've got to have new development pay for itself and pay proportionally. Our city manager, who was the head of the Los Angeles Redevelopment Agency, biggest redevelopment agency in the nation, economics has clearly articulated to this council tonight that the reason staff is bringing this forth now, because it may not sound like to be a good time because the way the market's upside down, is because we have to have certainty for construction, and we have lots of commercial construction going on, and to ensure that that continues, please listen to what he had indicated. That degree of certainty must continue for that to do it. But the companion portion of that is that this certainty is that they need to have a certainty in the fees. And if this is not done, if we fail to meet our mission, we fail to be responsible stewards of our city, then the prices are going to be astronomical in the future, and you will have all development, including commercial, stop, because there will be no degree of certainty of what those fees are to be expected to pay. Nobody wants to have more fees. I couldn't agree on the other side with Developer West, because obviously there's getting to be more fees and more fees, and things tagging on. There was a big article in the UT, I think 2 days ago, Sunday, about all the little fees and a load of add-on taxes, which all start to add up. But the bottom line is, when we run for office, when we represent our constituents, we have to do the decisions that are also unpopular, and that is to ensure that we have the degree of certainty that will allow construction to go forth. And when the market gets better for the housing market, which we all want, then that too will occur. But to have the paid proportionate share will ensure that the commercial will keep going because they cannot be tagged with the full cost, or that degree of certainty would be wiped out. Traffic is a key issue, and we have to ensure that we mitigate against this. As unpopular as it is, I continue and will always support that we provide the basis to ensure that development pays for itself. And that's what's before us tonight. and it's not popular, and some of you may have to hold your nose when you vote for it, but you need to do that. And the slide I want to go back to shows, I don't know, I think it's 4 or 5 back, Jack. It shows the fees of $10,000 versus the $32.43. There it is. What's being proposed here tonight, let's put this in perspective, is a Western TransDiff fee that is less than 1/3 of Eastern Chula Vista. 2,000 of which, I think there's going to be no argument on this council, because if you don't do that, you're going to subject this community to lose the TransNet dollars, and that's probably in the neighborhood of $5 million apiece. That does a lot of our road work, and staff has done that. So the balance of $1,243 is a very small figure compared to what you're looking at the eastern side. And had that council in 1988 failed to do that, we would have had all of that development. That would not have happened. And that basically adopted then, which we, I believe, need to make that hard decision here tonight to continue that philosophy that development must pay its share. And as new development comes on, it is proportionate. For the kinds of projects that Mr. West was talking about, if he replaces 3 dwelling units with 3 dwelling units, that's not going to have the impact there unless there's a great deal of reasons to have additional trips, and so those exceptions. And I submit to my colleague, if you don't support this tonight, the city has to pay for this, and I'd like you to tell me where they're going to pay for that.